What's up, guys? Gonna make a quick video for you on installing the lift kit on my 1986 K5 Blazer M1009. It's a military version Blazer. So video quality may not be great because I'm doing the whole thing on my cell phone. Don't have the GoPro today. We're gonna be doing the Tuff Country 3-inch. This is the heavy duty front springs, and we're gonna do the 3-inch rear blocks. For shocks, I ended up going with the Bilsteins. So hopefully this will help you guys out, and you'll get to see what the truck looks like before and pretty soon after. So hopefully pretty soon. But yeah, thanks for watching. So before I start the lift, this is the stock suspension. I know those springs look really flat, but supposedly they're not. From what I read, it's called reverse arch springs or something like that from one of the military websites, and that's how these trucks came with the front suspension. The rear springs are not going to change, but the rear springs are like regular springs that arch downward. You can see there. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. We're going to start taking apart the front and getting ready to put our 3/4 ton or heavy duty front springs. Oh, that's horrible lighting. Our heavy duty front springs on the front of this M1009. So step one of the instruction says to remove the shocks on the driver's side, or the shock on the driver's side. Maybe shocks if you have the quad setup, but anyway, so you remove the shock on the driver's side, and then we're going to disconnect the brake line. As you can see, I'm on the passenger side. I'm gonna jump the step. I'm just gonna take both shocks off now because what's holding the truck up is actually the springs on the truck, but I still have support there just in case. And I also have one in the back because the front's a lot lighter right now and we might have to jiggle some stuff around. The last thing I need is my beautiful K5 to fall off the rack. So yeah, take off the bolts for the shocks on the front would be your first step. Alright guys, so I took off the front spring and shock on the driver's side. I haven't taken off the brake line yet, but I'm going to do that in a minute. Luckily, as you can probably see, my truck leaks quite a bit of oil. So the bolts were not seized. They're really easy to take off. But we're about to put on the new springs, and I'll let you know how that goes. So to take it off, it was just the 4 bolts right there. You got 2 on each side, or it's a U-bolt, so you got 2 on the right, 2 on the left. And then you got 1 bolt here for the spring, and another one on this side for the rear shackle spring here. So we'll see springs next. Alright guys, so we tried to do one side at a time, but this is for a 3-inch lift, and we couldn't get this side down far enough to get the spring in there all the way. This is the driver's side. Sorry for the poor lighting again. So what we did was we got support on both sides of the axle, and it started to roll forward a little bit when we took off the U-bolts on that side. So we put a strap from this side of the frame to the other side of the frame. There's identical little hole up there, just to kind of keep it from rolling backwards or forwards. So we're going to take this side off, and that way we can lower the front axle low enough to put the new springs in. Alright guys, so I did we did the front suspension. This is a buddy came over to help me out, so save me some time. We did the front springs. It was easier to, I think in the last video, or the last clip that I filmed, I said we tried to do one side at a time. It was easier just to do both sides at the same time, so we got supports obviously on the sides, and then we had the strap to keep the weight of the differential from rolling too far forward or backwards. We had to disconnect the breather line for the front axle here, and then the brake lines we have not yet done the relocation brackets. We're probably going to do those tomorrow because I'm just going to drive the truck home. It's not going to do any off-roading or going to be flexing the front right now. So I'll show you guys how to do those tomorrow. We're still going to do the rear blocks tonight, which are going to be in the back. We're hoping those are going to be easier because they're blocks, not springs or anything. So we're just finally going to put on the shocks up front, and I'll give you guys another update, see if there's anything else significant that is important to you guys. So I'm going to edit this part out. I'm going to shut up now. Alright guys, so we're working on the rear again. The rear shocks for the K5 or M1009 at least, they have like a bolt that goes through the frame, and then extension piece out here with the shock mounts. The new shocks we got from Bilstein come with a whole unit, so we're going to be replacing the whole thing, not just putting a shock on the old mount there. We haven't gotten to the blocks yet, but we're hoping it's going to be a lot quicker than the front. It should be. It's just blocks. So, and the U-bolts, of course, and hardware. The rear comes with a little brake extension there. That's obviously not tightened up all the way yet. We're going to get to that in a minute. And tomorrow morning we'll be doing the brake lines, but for tonight we're just going to be doing the blocks, shocks, and get it together enough to drive home. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below if I'm not being clear with anything. I'll let you guys know how much better hopefully it rides after you know. All right guys, so it took us about 4 hours to do the front and rear. Some of the bolts were seized, so obviously that took some time, but we got the front shocks and springs on, new U-bolts, hardware. We still have to do the brake lines tomorrow morning. And in the back, we just did the blocks, pretty straightforward. I recommend obviously use some WD-40 or anti-seize before you go at it, because we went at it without doing that and we had a couple that seized up. We had to use the mini torch, get them hot. That helps. So if you guys ever have seized hardware, just be careful not to hit your brake lines, especially if you have a gas tank in the back. This is diesel, so it's a little bit safer, but still make sure the flame's going away from the gas tank. New shocks are in. Kind of a bitch. Like I said, battery's low, so I can't use the flash. But to put those in and take them off, you kind of got to get underneath the inside. And down here with your ratchet or your wrench or whatever. Wasn't too bad, just takes a little bit of time. So overall, we're gonna put on the wheels right now and we'll see how she sits. Again, this is a 3-inch lift from Rough Country with the heavy duty front springs because it's a diesel. So make sure to like, subscribe, share, and let me know what you guys think. All right guys, so there's a 3-inch lift. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, put it down. So I haven't seen it on the ground yet either. Let's see how she sits. Da, 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 da. Well, that's pretty good. I mean, it still has to settle, mind you. It's never been driven, but that's a lot more than I was expecting. I was gonna go with a 2.5, and I think earlier I said Rough Country, but it is a Tuff Country lift. You guys can read upside down. So that's a Tuff Country 3.5 lift with the, or 3-inch lift, not 3.5. 3-inch lift with the Bilstein shocks, front and rear, front springs, rear blocks. The front has the HD springs because it was recommended for a 6.2 diesel. And I hope they settle, because, I mean, I know they will settle, but it does look a little bit taller in the front than the back. But we'll just have to wait and see, drive it around. I'll give you guys an update in a few weeks. I got some other parts. I still have to do the master cylinder on this truck. I have to, I got this new light bar thing to hold the round lights instead of the bar. I don't know when I'm gonna install that, or even if I'm gonna keep it. I gotta see how it looks first. Gotta do the roof rack. The list goes on, but there you guys go. I hope this helped out a little bit so you can get an idea. I'm sure most lift kits are fairly similar to this if you're going with a 3-inch or 4-inch. If you go 6 and above, then I know usually, or 4 and above, a lot of times you have to change out drive shafts and everything. So we'll see how the drive angle goes, if I have to change the drive shaft or U-joints or anything, which I'm probably gonna do soon anyways. So yeah, I hope you guys liked the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, share. Follow me on my Instagram page, CUCV_page. Tag me for a shout out and I'll share your truck. So hope the video helps and have a good day. Hey everyone, so here we are back again, finishing up the lift. Just little things. We're extending the breather for the front transfer case here. As you can see, it goes right underneath that cross member support frame, whatever you call it. Goes underneath between that and the oil pan. And we're gonna come out on this side and it connects right there. And an original little clamp on it, but it wasn't holding very well, so we ended up putting a new hose clamp. So we're gonna be running this back through underneath. And obviously shorten up the hose and connected it on that side. So just like the front, we got to do the rear breather line. You can see it's super stretched out here. It'll be an easy swap. Just take off the rear or the bottom clamp, and then take the top off and swap it with a new line. I'm probably going to be using a hose clamp again, just because these clamps are kind of worn. So yeah. Alright guys, so now we're doing the front brake lines. We're going to do these extension tabs that it came with. I'm actually going to call and see if I can get a new brake line that's a little longer also. But from the instruction manual for the Tuff Country lift kit, it comes with these extended brake tabs. So we're going to be putting this hardware. I'm not sure if it's in this hole yet. We've got to check the one behind it. We're going to check the instructions right now. I'm assuming it's this same one. And your brake mounts, or your brake line's going to mount down here now. So there's also a retaining clip. Before you remove the retaining clip, you want to loosen up the brake lines. So you loosen up the brake lines and then you remove the retaining clip, or else you're going to have two lines that are going to be rotating back and forth, because the retaining clip actually keeps this from moving back and forth. Excuse the shitty filming. But yeah, so it holds it in place. So first loosen up, then retaining clip. We have not done the driver's side yet. That's the passenger side. These were pretty tough to get off. I actually let them sit in a WD-40. I sprayed it like 3 days in a row. I just kept spraying WD-40 and then I let it dry, then WD-40, and I drove it around before putting on the brake lines. You can drive the truck around with the shorter brake lines, but I would not at all recommend off-roading, because you are going to probably rip these lines off if you go off-road once you start to flex. I also actually went with the larger tires. It's been about a week since we've done the lift, since we installed the initial lift, excluding the brake lines of course. So we got bigger tires now, and hopefully we'll get a video of the truck off-roading soon. So hopefully. Alright guys, so we got the brake line extension bracket on. Not too difficult to put in. A little finicky because it's a little bit of a tight space to work to get the washer in back there, but not too bad overall. So it does, just to get an idea of what it looks like, and then we're going to be putting the brake hose there and the brake line on the other side with a little locking bracket that it comes with. Locking clip, not bracket. Alright guys, so we installed both sides, driver and passenger. This is passenger side, this is driver side. So there's some locking tabs right there on the back side. Maybe you can tell a little better. Let me get the flashlight real quick. There's some locking tabs that kind of slid in there, and when those locking tabs go over the metal on the factory bracket there, it's a lot thicker than the one that comes with the lift kit. So the tab was not locking in the brake line, it was actually just kind of moving around in there. So what I did, I don't know, you guys can do, you know, I was thinking putting a washer back there, but instead of messing with all that, I just bent the tab on the bottom a little bit, if you can tell there. Try and focus the camera. There we go, it's a little better. So you can see right there on the bottom, I bent the tab inwards. So that way, right there, bent the tab. So that way it would lock in place. Because if it doesn't lock in place, then your brake line just kind of be jiggling around there and it's going to come out. I did that on both sides, which is fairly easy. Better than, I think, putting a washer in there, something that can fall out. So we got the brake lines in place. Now we just have to put in some brake fluid and bleed the lines. Your bleeder valve is going to be on this side of the caliper right up top. And then once we bleed the brakes, this kit will officially be ready to go off-road, and we can test it out, driving it on the road. The Bilstein shocks with these springs made an enormous difference over the riding, the way the truck rode before. It was really loud before. Anytime I went over a bump or anything, the whole truck would shake. Now it's actually really smooth, and unless I have some loose tools in the back, I don't hear, you know, the truck rattling sound like it's going to fall apart. So huge upgrade. Highly recommend the Rough Country lift. These are the Tuff Country, not the Rough Country. This is Tuff Country lift with the HD front springs. We have the rear blocks for now. We're going to do rear springs probably in a year or so, and we went with the Bilstein 5100 series shocks.